Toronto police are on the hunt for multiple suspects following the city's 9th homicide of the year. A man in his 20s who was shot and killed on this stretch of the Danforth in the early hours of the morning. It's a part of the neighborhood that some have expressed concern about, and I'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, let's hear from a woman who says she was by the victim's side as the ambulance was on the way.
I heard 3 or 4 pops, and then I came outside and I saw a guy laying on the ground.
One woman who didn't want to be identified spoke with 680 News about the scary moments that led to the discovery of a man on the sidewalk on Danforth near Greenwood. Witnesses say he was standing outside this bar, the EastEnders, at the time the shots went off around 3 a.m. The witness, understandably shaken up, says she tried to keep him conscious until the ambulance arrived.
I did the best that I could.
Before CPR?
I wanted to, but at the time too, because you couldn't tell where he was shot. He was wearing all of this black, and you couldn't even see any blood or anything until the police got there and started moving him.
Multiple calls came into Toronto police in the morning, who are now investigating this death as a homicide after finding a male in his 20s suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Police say there were 2 or 3 suspects wearing dark-colored clothing who fled in a vehicle after the shooting. And at this point, it's unclear if the victim was targeted.
I don't want to sort of pigeonhole ourselves into the fact that it was targeted. Clearly there was some sort of interaction between our deceased and the suspects. That narrative hopefully will follow with witnesses coming forward.
Residents who live near this stretch of the Danforth are reminded of an all too familiar scene: violence in their neighborhood the last few years and a mass shooting that claimed the lives of 2 young girls.
It's been ferocious on the Danforth for the last couple of years. There's been quite a few murders.
Some residents tell City News this specific bar and stretch of the Danforth has been problematic, with crowds gathering into the early hours of the morning and at times fights breaking out. Area Councillor Paula Fletcher described some of these establishments as rough bars where violence has escalated.
My big concern is that this has now stepped up from fighting, which has always happened, just fist fighting, and to gun fighting. They weren't inside, but it was on the street. It was all associated with the venue.
Councillor Fletcher is once again calling for a handgun ban, but also adds that establishments should be held accountable.
The city will look at all the businesses that have a business license. You have to operate your business to a pretty good standard. And if gunfire, gunplay, shootings, killings are at your venue, that's not a standard anybody accepts. And all the weight needs to be brought down to either clean it up or get out.
And we did try and reach out to the bar today. Our calls and social media messages went unanswered, and obviously the business was closed today as it was behind yellow tape. Now, police have since cleared, but the investigation remains ongoing. So far, they have not released any further suspect information or any details on the victim.